Hey guys, Aaron here, coming at you with a review, comparison, contrast video, something I've been wanting to do for a long time, and I'm finally getting around to doing it. Being at home sick has given me some time to kind of get some stuff done that I've been wanting to get done. Um, Let me first apologize by all the different stuff and garbage you see all around the frame. What I'm doing is I'm gonna review the Wicked Edge and the Edge Pro Apex Sharpener, kind of compare and contrast the two. And they're just too big for me to have on a nice clean white background. So you may be able to hear the fan in the background also. I'm using some lights to give me a little bit more light here on the table. So there we go. But let's get started. First off, the first thing I want to cover is I want to let you guys know that I am not a knife sharpening expert. Not by a long stretch. If you're looking for knife sharpening techniques or advice or anything like that, I recommend J. Davis 882 or Exacto's YouTube channels. They have incredible tutorials on using both of these systems, and they can really get a screaming edge on a knife. So what I'm going to attempt to show you is what one system gets you versus the other. And I'm just going to start this entire video out with the Wicked Edge wins. It is a much better sharpening system. However, it's at a much higher price point, and that's important to realize. So, first things first, the Wicked Edge is a Vise-driven, excuse me, sick, like I said, a Vise-driven sharpening system. And so what that means is the knife that you're sharpening sits in the vise like that, and you tighten this sucker down, and then you are able to pass the stones down the knife without having to worry about the knife moving. Each of the arms here can be set to individual angles, and they're differentiated by single degree stops. There's little detent holes here that you can sort of screw them into, and they're fairly accurate. So that's the Wicked Edge. The Edge Pro Apex here is a table-driven sharpening system. And what I mean by that is you lay the knife here on the table, and then you pass the stone over one side, and then you have to switch and do the same the other way. So what I don't like about this is this factor here, the fact that you can change the angle of the stone just by the way you're holding it, or the angle of the knife just by the way you're holding it. Let's see. As far as the sharpening methods go, what I like about the Wicked Edge is that you can pass, I'm just going to grab for demonstration purposes a couple of stones here. Once your knife is locked into the vise, you can pass these stones down, alternating ways to go. There are some people who say what you should do is you should sharpen one side until you develop a burr, and then sharpen the other side until you've developed a flip-flop burr, and then you knock it off and you go to your finer stone. I alternate, and it seems to work well for me. I'm still learning the system, but, you know, there's that. The Edge Pro, on the other hand, you have to hold the knife while you here, let me drop a stone in here, actually. So you hold the knife while you stroke the blade. And what I'm going to say is that this is kind of akin to like patting your head and rubbing your stomach at the same time. It can be difficult because you need to count your strokes so they're even for each side, while making sure that you're not altering the angle of the knife here and that you're not pressing harder here. It's just a lot of stuff to do in one action. So you guys might be getting an impression that I really like one over the other. Let's talk about stones here for a second. The Wicked Edge, let me get up in here for you guys. The Wicked Edge uses these diamond-coated stone paddles. And what I like about these is essentially they won't wear down as you sharpen knives. Diamonds are harder than steel. They'll just grind the steel away. You'll need to clean the steel off of them as you sharpen, just so you have clean surfaces. But they're not going to wear down. The Edge Pro, however, uses these single ceramic stones on its metal platen, and these are going to develop a hollow as you grind steel away with them. You can see there's some steel left on that stone. And they need to be flattened, and what you do is you take carbide silica powder on a flat piece of glass, you just scrub them, and what it'll do is it'll grind the edges down so it's a flat stone. So that can be kind of messy and annoying in my opinion. Adjustability. As I said before, the Wicked Edge allows you to adjust. Let me refocus. Allows you to adjust the arms here in single degree stops, and they're marked from 15 to 30 degrees, and you've got you can go 29, whatever you want, and then you can match it on the other side. The one caveat I'll say is depending on the thickness of your blade can change the angle that this stone hits as the vise moves in and out. So what I use is an angle cube, this guy, to determine the angle on this side to relatively match this side. I just want them close. So there's that. On the Edge Pro, however, the only way you have to adjust the angle of your blade grind is moving this up and down. And there aren't marks on here. There are colored little tabs that correspond to angle markings in the instruction manual, but it's not overly clear how you do that. So what I've always had to do is rest it here and get an angle reading from that so I can know what angle I'm grinding the blade. It is a little easier to get an exact angle doing this because there aren't milled stops and you can get it 1/10 of a degree one way or the other. But I find this method to be a little bit easier to use. Cost comparison. This is what's big. The Edge Pro, the basic Wicked Edge system is, let me kind of get everything into frame here so you can see. The basic Wicked Edge system is about $275 from Wicked Edge. Now that comes with the 100, 200 stones and the 400 and 600 stones. Additional stones range from $65 for the 100 through 1000 grit. All those different stones are $65. There are 1200, 1600 grit ceramics that are $85, and then there's one step finer, which are ultrafine ceramics, and those are $120. Now keep in mind that you're paying for each $65 stone, you're paying for 2 paddles, 4 stones total. So you're paying for 2 1600 grit diamonds or 600 grit diamond stones and 2 400 grit diamond stones for these. The strops from Wicked Edge are around $40 to $45, and they come with a compound. I can show you a strop right here. That's going to be a Wicked Edge strop. You can see it says finer coarse, and that's just going to keep you clear on what kind of diamond paste you have applied to that strop. These are going to be what takes you from really sharp to screaming sharp on your edges. And they have 3 different grits, if you will, of strops that you can get. They have the I believe it's the 10 and 14 micron strops. They have the 5 and the 3.5 micron strops, and then these are the 1.5 micron strops. So if you work through all 3 of those, you're going to just have an insanely sharp blade. The Edge Pro system, however, the basic system costs about $165, and that's going to include the 220 stone and the 400 stone. Additional stones are around $16. Here's a 1000 grit stone. Now keep in mind that these technically are consumable. You're going to wear through these stones as you go. You will use them up over a long time, but you will use them up. Edge Pro also offers polishing tapes, which are essentially strips of wet-dry, superfine wet-dry sandpaper that stick onto glass blanks that go in here, and you can finish your blade off with that. Excuse me. They're going to look something kind of like that. And they're going to get you a mirror bevel, super fine polish, really sharp blade. They're also cheap. I think they're $9 for a pack of 15 polishing tapes and $9 for the glass blank, which you can reuse over and over again. The polishing tapes will wear out quickly, but they're not that expensive. You just keep some on hand. So essentially, a entire Wicked Edge kit with the full degree of stones from 100 to 1600, plus 2 different strops, is going to cost you $515 plus the cost of your base and an extra $35 if you decide you want an angle cube. Excuse me. The Edge Pro system is going to cost you around $300 plus or minus, some money depending on where you order it from. That's for the 220 stone through the 1000 grit stone, 1 set of polishing tapes, and a glass blank for those tapes. I didn't include strops in that cost because there are a bunch of different aftermarket strops offered from this. Horsehide, kangaroo hide, balsa wood, all kinds of stuff, and then different pastes or diamond mists and stuff that you can get for that. So you'll need to factor that into your cost. But there's a little bit more than a $200 difference between the two. So, with that said, I think that the Wicked Edge is a much more controllable option for sharpening. It allows you to set the angles a lot more precisely and to not have to worry about the angle in which your blade is put in. Once you get it cinched down, the blade's not going to move, and you just have to concentrate on your grinding of. So all you have to do is concentrate on your grinding of the steel. Secondly, the biggest selling point for the Wicked Edge for me are the stones. The stones last nearly forever since they're diamond stones. The stones for the Edge Pro are going to be consumable. You will have to flatten them over time, and eventually they're going to wear out. Depending on how much sharpening you do, that will be sooner rather than later. It's worth pointing out that I was able to achieve a mirror bevel quicker with the Edge Pro than I was the Wicked Edge. The ceramics lend themselves to that. There are ceramics for this as well. They're expensive, but they're out there. Something else to consider is the Edge Pro is a wet method, so you need to have water. Use that, and you're using water with these stones. So it's you have to do it in the kitchen by the sink or something like that. And the slurry created by that of the steel and the ceramic that's being worn away can scratch your blades. A lot of people, when they use the Wicked Edge, are going to tape up their entire blade to keep from getting those swirly, hazy scratches down their blades. So, with that said, I prefer the Wicked Edge. I think the stones are a better value. I think it's a more comprehensive sharpening system that is going to give you a better edge overall with less of a learning curve. The Edge Pro is a great system, and if all you can afford is the Edge Pro, I think it's the way to go. However, keep in mind that you can also do what I did, which is pick up a second-hand Wicked Edge and then slowly acquire stones as you go along. I've got a pretty complete kit now, and it's just been buying them as I went. You could do the same with the Edge Pro and get a very complete system. There are tons of other accessories out there for both of them that are going to make it more or less expensive one way or the other. So what if you were hearing $200 and it's like, oh my gosh, that's way too much money for a sharpening system? Which I understand. I don't sharpen a whole lot of knives. I just kind of like it, so, I'm able to get into it. Well, that's when you get into the Spyderco Sharp Maker. This is a fantastic system for around $40. And essentially the premise of this is you run your blade down either side, counting your strokes, and then you're going to switch to the flats, do the same, and then you'll eventually switch to the fine stones. And Spyderco also makes some ultra fine stones that are about $15 a piece that you can do a third step. This can also give you a mirror bevel, hair shaving edge for about $40, $70 with the ultra fine stones. It's a fantastic value, and I would highly recommend this. So I hope I gave you guys some kind of data point to go by. This was a little scatterbrained. I'm not really feeling it, but I wanted to get this video out there. I'm going to be selling my Edge Pro, so if you're interested, let me know, and for a good price. And yeah, the Wicked Edge is a great system. The Edge Pro is a pretty great system. For the money, the Sharpmaker is a fantastic system. So I hope that was helpful, guys. I'm looking forward to your comments. And hit the link in the description to see a full write-up, everything written out in detail, that you can see more pictures and everything. So, yeah. Thanks a lot, guys. Aaron, out of here.